Not too long ago, we did a video on the Swampfox Sentinel, and we put that on our Staccato C Duo, and been pretty happy with it so far. So we liked it enough that we picked up the Liberty and the Justice from Swampfox. So before you get turned off by the name Swampfox, thinks it's just a cheap store brand, think again. Riders Range is going to talk about it and tell you why we like the products. I want to welcome you to Riders Range, and before we get into this, I want to say this is not a paid promotion. It's not a product placement. I bought these sites at right off the website at the same price anybody else would pay for them. We'll talk about price just a little later on. And as I said in the intro, Swampfox is not something that should turn you off by the name. I had a commenter on the Sentinel video had the impression that based on that name it was just a cheap site that you pick up anywhere. Well, it's not. There's a good historical connotation to the Swampfox name, and if you want to go back to the Revolutionary War or just go back to the Swampfox website and look at why they have named it Swampfox. And it's not cheap by any means. These are designed in the United States. It's a veteran-owned company out in Colorado. They are made in China. Of course, almost every optic these days, with a couple of exceptions, are made in China, and if it's not made in China, you're going to pay a whole lot more for it. So again, I did like the Sentinel. I liked it enough to where we got the Liberty and the Justice, and they are similar, a little bit different. I've already taken the Liberty out of the box and mounted it. We'll talk a little bit more about what specifically I'm doing with that. So we don't need that box anymore. But this one is how it comes. Nicely packaged. Swampfox decal. Instructions that are small font, not designed for aging eyes by any means, but they're very thorough instructions. Lens cloth, the battery, let's see, the tool to mount it, tool to adjust it, all the screws you're ever going to need, and they come with a nice cover on it. And now the trick is to get it out of the cover while it's not mounted on anything. And there's the Swampfox Justice. Compared to the Swampfox Liberty, they are essentially the same footprint, the same size. Now these are designed to mount on like an RMR mount. They are a little larger than the Sentinel, which is designed to be mounted on the RMSC type or the SIG Romeo Zero type mount, or even the Holosun mount. So these are, again, a little bit larger. The difference between the two, the only difference between the two, is the width of the lens. And you can see from here that the Justice is a little bit wider than the Liberty. This is a 27 millimeter lens versus a 22. Now, when you compare this with something like the Vortex Venom, now, they don't give the lens width on the Vortex website. They just say that it's 1.11 inches on the outside. Well, that translates into about a 28 millimeter external, which means the lens on the inside is smaller than that. So you put that next to the Justice, and you can see that not only does the Justice have a heavier aluminum shield on it, but it also looks to be a little bit wider than what you see on the Vortex. So how does it compare to the standard? All right, here we have the Trijicon RMR. And again, this only gives an outside dimension of 1.1 inches, which again is going to come out to somewhere around 28 millimeters outside. The window on the Justice is obviously wider, and you can see that the material on this Justice is also very sturdy. So this is 70-75 aluminum, good strong housing on this, but even the Liberty is still going to be sturdy, and the window is going to look every bit as big, maybe bigger still, as what you see in the Trijicon RMR. Now, I know that Sage Dynamics has beat the living daylights out of his Trijicon, and very, very happy with it. But on the other hand, I expect certainly the Swampfox to hold up just as well. So the Liberty, I do have what's called the Ironside protector on it, and this is a protector that goes over the sight. You can see that there's just a little bit of a gap there, so if you do drop this thing, the Ironside is going to take most of the impact before it even gets to the sight itself. I don't make the Ironside for the Justice, only for the Liberty at this point. And I also bought from Swampfox the Picatinny rail mount, and I initially mounted this on my Smith & Wesson 327 TRR8, and this is going to go back on it when we're done. Did some shooting with it. This thing came just about zeroed when I first put it on the gun. I did have to move it just a little bit, and it does have easy elevation and windage adjustments on it. Same thing on of course, the Justice. Again, they're the same basic body of the sight, just the wider lens area. These are both 3 MOA, which is exactly what I like for rapid acquisition of the sight, as well as for precision. The battery compartment's in the top, easy to get to, and these are not automatic. These are manually adjustable. There's 10 different adjustments on these, and they're adjustable up and down on the left-hand side. The dot will blank out after a short period, but as soon as you pick this thing up, it has what's called shake-awake technology, so as soon as you move this thing just the slightest amount, it comes on instantly. And this one, again, I've got several cylinders full of 357 Magnum on the TRR8 with this sight, and it's held zero quite nicely. And in fact, I shook it awake, it's on. I never took the battery out of there. There, it's you can see the dot is in this one. Let's see if it'll dim at all on here. See if I can get it to focus. There we go. There, it's cranked way down now, and again, it shows larger in the camera, but this is a 3 MOA dot, and it didn't take much to wake this thing up at all. So again, the Liberty is going back on the TRR8, and again, I got the Ironside mount for this particular sight because wearing that gun in a Speed Bees holster, knocking around the range, bumping into things in my shop, I wanted additional protection on it, and I wanted to see how that Ironside would work out. This is going to go on my Canik TP9 SFX, and it's going to be more of a range gun, and we'll see how that works out. In fact, when that video comes out shortly, check it out and see how the final decision was on the Justice. So 2 sights from Swampfox. Oh, by the way, it's about retail of about $249 for the Liberty and $259 for the Justice. Add another $45 or so for the Ironside mount, another $20 or so for the Picatinny rail mount for it, and it's still well within the price of a Vortex Venom and way under the price of a Trijicon RMR. Are they going to hold up as well? I'm waiting for Sage Dynamics to beat his up. I'm not going to beat mine up at this point. It'll get beat up enough just knocking around the range in the shop. And they claim 4,000 hours of battery life at medium setting because of the shake awake. And of course that shake awake means that this thing is going to be on all the time while it's in a holster and you're moving around. It's only going to dim after you set it down for a while. So when you put it down for the night, it's going to go off, but as soon as you pick it back up, it's going to come right back on again. So 4,000 hours should be a year for the average shooter and the average user of these of either of these sights. And again, you should be changing the batteries on all of your optics once a year anyway. And again, you don't have to take these apart. You don't have to take them off the gun to get to the battery. They're top mounted. So Liberty with the Ironside and the Picatinny rail, the Justice without it, sturdy sights, very affordable sights, by the way. Swampfox does offer a very generous discount for military active and retired, as well as law enforcement active and retired. Check out their website to see what they offer. And so this is my second and third Swampfox sight. Again, I paid retail for these things, minus the discount for being a retired law enforcement, and really like the product so far. So check out the Swampfox website, take a look at what they offer, and maybe try one out. If you're looking for a good alternative to the Vortex or the Trijicon sights or the Leupold Delta Point, these may very well be a good alternative to those. So it's a relatively quick look at the Swampfox Liberty and Justice here on Riders Range. If you like this video, we certainly appreciate a thumbs up, and please share the video so that we can continue to grow the channel. Anything to help out the YouTube algorithm so we show up more in the search results. And if you haven't already done so, subscribe, click on the notifications bell. Comments also help us grow it, so comments down below on this video, comments to anything else at info@ridersrange.com. And again, Swampfox, there's a good history behind the name, and there's a good solid set of sites here. Thanks for visiting Riders Range.